Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I want to continue the Doomsday in Depth series. I have a video posted for the Doomsday green skills. I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to check that out. The green tree is mainly focused on tiles and sort of honor. So honor gains being kind of the experience point level system for Doomsday skills. The blue tree, or the construction specialty tree, focuses mainly on buildings, so your honor buildings. Yeah. So I'm going to start north and then go clockwise. Really the only reason to go north is for destruction power. The middle points obviously give you destruction power. Each level gives you +3. Each node is +9. And that goes basically all the way up. And the only reason to use this is essentially to get one-hit vehicles. So a full vehicle APC will normally net you 460 destruction power. If you have Death Rider Awakened, it's a little bit different because he gives you +300 demolition or destruction power immediately. But normally it'll be 460. In order to take an enemy tile, it has 500 HP. So current durability 500 out of 500. If I attack with a normal full vehicle squad, it'll still have 40 left, and so I'll have to attack twice. What you can do to get around that is you need to build your destruction power above 500. Fighters have 736 by default, which is well over 500, and shooters have 552, which is again enough to one hit tiles. However, in order to make your vehicles one hit, you want to go north. So basically you're going to need to spend 19 skill points. So you need the first 3 nodes fully maxed. You need this 4th destruction node maxed, and then you need to place 2 in here. You need to put 5 into this skill, but it's pretty useless. You don't really use this skill ever. But I can explain it very quickly. So after Doomsday Conquest battles, spend 800 diamonds to recall your troops instantly. Basically what that means is if you march, once your vehicles march and they're returning, you can just select and they'll instantly return back to your base. But you're going to be using 800 diamonds. Now, the left-hand side basically reduces the cost, and the right-hand side reduces the cost as well. So you can get it down to 320 to instantly recall your troops, but it's still a lot of diamonds, and it's not really worth it to put it in these points because you're basically only doing this again for one-hit vehicles. Now, once you unlock this second skill, pretty useless. I don't recommend going any higher than 2 points into this. But the second skill is Truce Protection, so it makes one honor structure enter the protection status. The protection status basically means nobody can attack your honor structure. And this will last for 15 minutes with an 8-hour cooldown. Now, the points on the left will give you an additional 10 minutes if they're maxed, coming out to 25 minutes with an 8-hour cooldown, and the points on the right will reduce that cooldown. Obviously, you can see nobody uses this skill or this because what does this number even mean? It means literally nothing, but it just goes to show that nobody uses this skill because this bug has been in here for quite a while. Moving forward, the next ability is Demolition. Again, not good. So after usage, your demolition power is increased by +50. This lasts for 10 minutes, and there's an 8-hour cooldown. So if you're already going up the middle, you're going to have enough destruction power to basically one hit with all the different troop types. You don't need this +50. It's really not going to do much when you're attacking structures. They're going to have thousands and thousands of HP, so I mean, or durability, I guess. So +50 is nothing. These points over here give you an additional 18% once they're maxed to this 50, which is what, like 8 or 9 demolition power. So less than 60. So it's still definitely worthless. And then the ones over here on the right will get you 2 hours now. So it's every 6 hours, but it doesn't even matter. It still lasts 10 minutes, so it's still horrible. And then the final skill in the north branch is Siege Hammer. So basically after usage on the next attack, you're going to deal 1 to 10 times random durability damage. And this again has an incredibly long cooldown, 8 hours. I don't know why these cooldowns are so long. It basically means you can use it once per duel. And this skill's kind of cool. So if you attack with a full fighter squad and you get this 10 times, it's going to be 7,560 damage. But it could also just be 1 times, so it's pretty useless, and it's only for 1 attack. I would never ever go this high. Like I said, really the only reason why you ever want to go north is to get 19 points and to get 1-hit vehicles. That's it. So moving over to the right focuses mainly on research facilities. Research facilities being the immunity research facility, honor building. Speaking of which, let's level this one up. No, I'll level that up later. But anyway, those are kind of what builds your immunity. The right-hand side focuses basically all on those. So the first node, you get 3% increased healing speed and 3% decreased cost in immunity research. The cost basically is just decreased resources. And so that goes across the entire row, all the way to the end. It's the same thing. The bottom is increased healing speed. And again, the entire row becomes increased healing speed. What that's talking about is basically the hospital. So instead of it taking 7 hours, it'll take, 6 hours or whatever the math comes out to be. I prefer the healing speed because the time is kind of the only variable that's finite. You can get more resources by creating farms or attacking people, but you can't get more time by doing that. You have to either buy packs or just wait. So I would rather increase that. Whereas resources you can get by plundering farms or other bases. Now, the nodes in the middle is basically the reason to go for the right. And in each immunity research facility increases 75 bonus immunity. So if you have all 4, which everybody should, it's an additional 300 virus immunity. Now, virus immunity is basically your immunity needed to take these tiles. So level 12 is 4,800. I have 5,500 immunity. So I already have it maxed, but let's just pretend I didn't. If I unlocked that first node max, I would have 5,800 immunity. So that's basically what that means. Again, you'll get a max of 1,200. It's going to cost 47 points to get all the way maxed immunity, but it's well worth it. You can basically attack much higher level tiles immediately or much quicker, and it'll basically just the higher level tiles will gain more materials, which will make you upgrade your buildings, etc., etc. So that's the right side, and again, I like to go increased healing speed. Now, if we rotate down, so we're going to the south tree. The first one is honor structure durability increased by 9. The entire left-hand column is the same thing. So honor structure durability, not worth it at all. This really won't even make somebody hit you twice, or make one of your buildings get hit twice. So not that good. The right-hand column, honor structure building speed increased. So if it took 100 minutes to build a building or to level up a building, it's going to take 97 minutes per node. This one's okay, but you can just use normal building speed ups for honor structures, so not really worth the skill points in my opinion. The reason why you want to go south is for these skill nodes. So the first one unlocks Assault Fortress 2 and Guardian Fortress 2. The next one 3 and 3, 4 and 4. This bottom skill basically gives your building, one building, a 30-minute shield, and they'll take 50% less durability damage with an 8-hour cooldown. Not worth it. Kind of similar to these. It doesn't really do anything. You can put on this shield, and then they'll just attack the one to your right, or they'll just bust through it anyway. They'll just brute force it, and you can only use this once, so not worth it. These, however, are very worth it. It basically allows you to place, by default, you can only place Assault Fortress 1 by your AC 1 and Guardian Fortress 1. If you unlock all of those, you can place obviously 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. Now, these are very, very good. They give you increased might. So the Assault Fortresses give you increased might. The Guardian Fortresses give you increased resistance, and it's quite a lot. At level 20, you get 105 additional might. 105. That's insane. If you have 4 of them, that's 420 additional might, which is absurd. It's very, very, very hard. You need like a billion composite materials to level them up to 20, but nevertheless. So anyway, you basically want to unlock these, place down these fortresses, and you can reset it and you keep the fortress. So obviously I don't have these skills here, but I still have the fortresses. If you're not planning on upgrading these, you're not like a fighter. You know, you're I guess your role is kind of tile making or path creating or something like that. It's still very useful to get these because they protect your alliance centers. So everybody in your alliance should be going for these and then resetting and doing whatever they have to do. So that's obviously what I do. Rotating more, the left-hand column is basically all about the processing queue. So the first node, you get processing plant processing speed increased by 6%, and you get 30,000 maximum processing at once. The top is, again, that processing speed increase, and it goes for the whole row. The bottom is that maximum processing at once, and again, it goes for the whole row. Processing speed is basically the speed at which you convert your materials into kind of the useful items. So in this case, I believe I get around 5 or 5.5, 5 to 6 per second. Let's just say 5, just to make things easy. My processing speed is basically 5 a second. If I use these abilities, if I increase it, instead of, all the way, I think it's basically like 50% extra processing speed. So I would get 7.5 resources a second, per second, sorry. Pretty good. The bottom one basically just allows you to place more materials at one time. So right now it takes like 8 hours basically to process all of mine. I can put in 156. If I went to the bottom, if I max out the first node, I would be able to place 216,000 and so on and so on. The only reason why you would ever go bottom is basically if you're like going on vacation or something and you can't log in every 8 hours to like refresh this. Because basically if this fully goes out, so if I don't log in 5 hours and 42 minutes, you're wasting a lot of time. So that's the only reason to go sell. Normally you'll want this processing speed increased. And then again, kind of the main purpose for the blue trees are these skills. So these ones in the middle add an extra processing queue. So if you go to your production, you'll see that there are these processing queues. I have 2 of them unlocked, and that's kind of what I would recommend. So it's going to take 10 skill points to get the second processing queue unlocked, but it's well worth it. You basically just double your production. Now, some folks will go 3 processing queues. I don't think it's personally needed, unless you're not doing the Doomsday investment plan. So there's a Doomsday investment plan which lasts, I think it's a 1 week plan. Yeah, 1 week, and I think it costs $10. But one of the privileges that you get is 50% processing plant production speed, just by default. So you really only need 1 extra processing queue because they're going to be working 50% quicker. So that's basically what I do. Also, when you level up your processing plants, you increase your processing speed by doing that. So 3,000 an hour at level 9. At level 20, it's 22,500. And if you had all 4 of them, it's almost 100,000 an hour. So that's kind of how that works. So this is sort of the blue tree. Like I said, if you need to, you can. Normally I would get 1 and then level up your processing plants. Level 13 is a very good medium. So if you don't have the Doomsday investment plan, you'll probably need your processing plants to be like around level 13. After level 13, the amount of processing speed that you get compared to the materials that you're using to upgrade it just goes up a lot. So 13 is a pretty happy medium. Now, a lot of people wondered kind of what I do with my skills. And so I will share that now. I'll probably do a whole video on kind of what to do for Doomsday at certain periods of time. There are kind of different stages to Doomsday. So in the very, very beginning, the first day, first thing I do is I skill point all the way down in this south direction. You'll need 36 points for this. So if you're on your first season, you can't do it immediately, but once you can do it, do it. So you need 36 points. I get all 4 of these. I place them all around my alliance centers, and then I immediately reset and I get an extra processing queue. So that's an additional 10 points, or sorry, just 10 points at this point. And then I go all the way full immunity, which is 47 points. This gives me 1200 immunity, or maybe like 13. I don't really know how much you start with by base, but let's just say 1200 immunity right away. And you can basically take like up to like level 5 or 6 tiles right away. So that's what I do. I take the highest level tiles that I can. I keep taking higher tiles. Once you unlock level 1, you can take 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. And I just keep going until I get the highest level tiles I can with the amount of durability I can. With the extra points, so this comes out to 57 points, and this is basically, you kind of need this 57. Once you have more than that, you can start putting your points in other stuff. If you want one-hit cars, you'd go and put 19 up here, which I could do since I have enough points for that. Or what I like to do is I go left, and so I get this 18% extra diseased crops and mutated lumber. Basically what it means is that I can upgrade my virus facilities much quicker. So that's kind of stage 1. That's the beginning stages of Doomsday. I get all of my fortresses, I reset it, I get a processing queue, and then I get all of the virus immunity. And then I just go and take as high level tiles as quickly as I can. I don't focus on taking a bunch of them. I just get one and then move on to the next until I reach a wall where I don't have enough materials to keep upgrading my research facilities. And then you kind of stay like that for a while. Once you get above 6,000 immunity, so if you have maxed the maxed right tree, once you get above 6,000 immunity, or if you don't have any of the points in there, 4,800 immunity. So you could basically take level 12s. What I do is I take a level 15. So right here, you'll lose a bunch of troops, but it's like 36%, I think. Then you'll probably, I'll have to attack it like 10 times or something. So you'll end up poisoning a lot of troops, but I take a level 15, and then I reset all of my skill points, and I basically go one processing queue. I keep the processing queue for now. So that's 10 points. And then I have the rest of the points for essentially this green tree. So I pretty much go down this avenue in the middle personally, because I like honor. I think the skill points are very good. I don't really need the marching speed. This is good for duels, but for everything outside of duels, you can just use teleports. So I go down the middle. I get this land development for level 12s, and then I unlock all the way these nodes until this one. So I basically can land develop 10 plots a day, 9 or 10 plots a day, up to level 12s. So I get everything at least level 12. Once they're all level 12s, I unlock this further up to level 15, and then develop everything to level 15. I'm not too concerned about taking level 16s. Usually there are other members of my guild who can do that. They rush that. But I'm not too concerned with it, so I don't focus on it. So I just do 15s. I develop everything up to 15s. I keep either the virus, or what usually I do is I switch to composite materials, and I basically use all my territories for mineral deposit and oil deposits. And so I'm getting a bunch of composite materials. They're all like level 15s or whatever, as many as I can. And then I reset that again, or I can keep it because I have quite a lot of points. I can do both. And I go down the middle aisle all the way down. So the middle aisle basically gives you honor gains when you upgrade your buildings. This skill gives you 100%. And then I go all the way down these nodes to these territory caps. So I increase my territory caps by 5. And I do the same thing for here. So then I have an additional 10 territories, and that's for both, so 20. I think, if I remember correctly, it's 20. I basically get 90% honor gain from all of these nodes. When I use this ability, I get 190%. And then what I do is I compile all those composite materials from those high levels, and then I upgrade these processing plants all sort of at once. If I need to do it earlier, I will get up to that level 13s, like I said. But if I can't, if my production speed is good enough, I'll just kind of compile them all and then upgrade these things all to level 20. And I will show you why. So you gain a lot of honor from upgrading these processing plants. The final level, you gain 2 million honor just from leveling from 19 to 20. So from level 9 to 20, let's just say it's 8 million honor. That's 8 million times 4, because there's 4 processing plants. That's 32 million honor. And then when I'm using sort of the green tree, the skills that I had just mentioned, I'm going all the way down, and I use this ability, I gain 190 extra honor. So multiply that by 1.9, and it's almost 61 million honor. Pretty good. So yeah, an additional 61 million honor, by the way. So it's like 90 million. And then you'll level up just a bunch of you'll level up a bunch of levels. For me, it'd be about 3 levels. Earlier on, you're gonna level up a shit ton. So it's very worth. It's one of the best ways to honor farm. And then once I have that, I can kind of reset this and either keep the territory cap. I don't really need to reset that many times. Usually, kind of this is more towards the end. So I'll just keep these territory caps. Usually, keep the composite side all the way up. Just develop my composite lands and then level up my assault and guardian fortresses from there. If you want to, at that point, you can reset and go into the red tree and gain basically taunt, and then go down here and get your defenses up. So that's also a strategy once you sort of unlock the processing plants. A lot of the other buildings don't give you that much honor, so really the processing plant is the big one. So once I do that, I can spec into the red tree and kind of just sit in the red tree until next season, and then I'll do it again. So that's sort of what I do. This works for both Eden and Total War. So the Doomsday skills stay the same, and that's kind of the path that I like to take. So hopefully that makes sense. I know I kind of got off topic by explaining sort of my setup. Like I said, I'll probably do a video on exactly what to do and kind of break it down even more, kind of each step of the way. But for now, the blue tree, this is kind of how your setup is going to look like. Processing queue, full immunity, and then once you don't need that, you can reset and do one-hit vehicles. Again, 19 points. Going down here, you'll need 36 to unlock all your fortresses. Over to the right, you need 47, and then for the processing queues, 10 or 20 if you need. No, not 20, 17. So that's about it. As always, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. All right, peace.